Hello grade 10s. Today we're going to join Shelly as she shows us how to solve linear inequalities with a denominator and how to represent your answer on a number line. Let's join her now.
Do you remember how to find the x values for a linear inequality? Let's see what we can do with this one. Now we have minus 3x minus 5 is greater than 7, where x is an element of real numbers, and we need to solve for x. In other words, we need to get x on its own. Now, the first thing we need to get rid of is that minus 5. So we're going to add 5 onto both sides. And now we just need to simplify. So we're going to get minus 3x is greater than 12. The next thing we need to do is get rid of that minus 3. Now, in order to get rid of that minus 3, we need to divide by a negative. Now, do you remember what happens when we divide by a negative? The inequality sign swaps around. So when we divide by minus 3, our inequality sign has swapped around and we end up with x being less than minus 4. What does x less than minus 4 mean? Well, we know that x is a real number. We were told that at the beginning. So x can be any real number that is less than minus 4. It could be minus 4,000,001, or minus 5, or minus 6,000. Now, do you remember how to represent this on a number line? Well, first of all, we use an open dot to show that we do not include the minus 4, but we get really close to the minus 4. And anything lower down than it, so we put an arrow going to the left. And we write it like this. Let's move on to another example. We are asked to solve for b. Now, don't be frightened by the numbers. Just take it one step at a time and you'll see how clever you already are. Now, the first thing we do is we look at 1½ and we change it to an improper fraction. So we would rewrite this 2b minus 1/3 minus 1/2 times by b plus 4 is now smaller than or equal to 3/2. 2 times 1 plus 1/2 minus 2b minus 3. Now we want to get rid of our fractions, so we multiply through by our lowest common denominator, which is 6. So what did I do to the 3 to give me 6? I multiplied by 2. So we do the same to the numerator. What did I do to the 2 to give me 6? I multiplied by 3. So we do the same to the numerator. Smaller than or equal to. Now, what did I do to the 2 to give me 6? Once again, we multiply by 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. And lastly, this denominator is a 1. So what did I do to the 1 to give me 6? I multiplied by 6. So we multiply the numerator by 6. Now we just need to multiply out using the distributive law. So we get 4b minus 2 minus 3b minus 12 is less than or equal to 9 minus 12b plus 18. We then add our like terms. So we've got 4b minus 3b, which gives us b, and minus 2 minus 12 is minus 14. Is less than or equal to. On this side, we have 9 plus 18, which is 27, minus 12b. Okay, now let's get all the b's on the left-hand side and the numbers on the right-hand side. So we get b plus 12b is less than or equal to 27 plus 14. So now on a new page, we can add our like terms. So we get 13b is less than or equal to 41. And lastly, we need to divide through by 13 on both sides. And we end up with b is less than or equal to 41 divided by 13. Where would you put this on a number line? It's so much easier to see the size of this number if we change it to the nearest whole number and fraction, so that we can figure out where to put this on a number line. So, 13 goes into 41 3 times, and 3 times 13 is 39, so there are 2 13ths left over. So it's fine to estimate where this lies, as we know it lies between 3 and 4. So we need to just fill in a solid dot somewhere in between that, and going down this way to indicate less than or equal to 3 and 2 13ths. I think you deserve a trip to Gold Reef City for all the hard work you've put in. Gold Reef City has loads of brilliant rides made to make you scream. The engineers use math to work out how to build these things and make them safe. There are a few things that the engineers need a little help working out. Think you can handle it? On the big wheel, there are X men, X divided by 2 plus 5 women, and X plus 6 children. The big wheel cannot take more than 126 passengers. Write down and solve a linear inequality to help you calculate the maximum number of men, women, and children that could be on the big wheel. Okay, so we know that the total number of people on the wheel can't be more than 126. So if we add the men, X, and the women, X divided by 2 plus 5, and the children, X plus 6 together, we know that they need to be less than or equal to 126. So the inequality would be X plus X divided by 2 plus 5 plus X plus 6 is less than or equal to 126. And to find out how much X is, we need to solve the equation to get it on its own. Let's keep all the X terms on the left and all the constant terms on the right-hand side. So we write we get X is less than or equal to 46. Now, we can feed in what we know X is to the values for men, women, and children. The value for men is just X, so there are 46 or less men on the big wheel, and we write it as less than or equal to 46. Next, we're going to substitute in our 46 into our women, and we get 46 divided by 2 plus 5, and that gives us less than or equal to 28, and we write that here. And lastly, we need to substitute in our 46 for our children, and we get 52. Remember, it's also less than 52, and we write it less than or equal to 52. Now, on a number line, it looks like this. Am I correct in putting separate dots on each of the numbers? Yes, we are counting people, and they don't come in halves or other fractions. In set builder notation, it will look like this. P, the number of people, is the set of all X, such that X is an element of natural numbers, and X is less than or equal to 46. Now, what about interval notation? Can we use interval notation for this situation? Think carefully. This may be how those examiners try and catch you out, so stay sharp. I will leave it to you to represent the number of women and children on number lines and in set builder notation. I'm sure you can do it. Back at Gold Reef City, do you know that the big wheel weighs 180 tons? That's the weight of 180 trucks. How much weight can the big wheel take on it and still move easily and safely? Here is our situation. We have the same maximum numbers of men, women, and children on the wheel. If the men weigh not more than 105 kilograms, now that means less than or equal to 105 kilograms. And the women weigh not more than 80 kilograms, so that means less than or equal to 80 kilograms. And lastly, the children weigh not more than 55 kilograms, once again less than or equal to 55. We need to calculate the maximum total weight of the loaded big wheel. To do this, you will need to find out the possible total weight of the people and add it to the weight of the big wheel. But be careful. The wheel is measured in tons and the people are weighed in kilograms. So 180 tons will be 180,000 kilograms. Remember, 1 ton is equal to 1,000 kilograms. So the total weight of the wheel is 46 times 105, which is the weight of the men, plus 28 times 80, which is the weight of the women, plus 52 times 55, the weight of the children, and don't forget the weight of the wheel, 180 tons. The wheel will be less than or equal to 4830 plus 2240 plus 2860 kilograms plus 180 tons. So work out your bracket first and don't forget to change your tons to kilograms, making it 9930 kilograms plus 180,000 kilograms, which is less than or equal to 189,930 kilograms. Or we could write it in tons by dividing by 1,000 to get 189,93 tons.
Thank you for joining us, grade 10s. Remember to look at the tasks for this section in the Equations and Inequalities task video. You'll also be able to learn more about equations on our website, www.mindset.co.za/learn. Goodbye.